Hello, it's the Studio Oriented again. This, I guess first I should introduce myself for whomever already don't know me. I've been doing 3D now, I think, since 1997, 1995-ish. That's when I actually met with 3D and VFX on a MS-DOS 3D Studio Release 4. And since then I've been like just doing as a hobbyist early years, and then mid 2000s commercial work, some freelance work, and for the last 11 years I've been working in the studios. Right now I work at MPC Montreal as a CG supervisor. Before that I was the FX lead, and before that I was a senior FX artist. And I saw that there was a missing a lack of tutorial that I like to as my tutorials are named studio oriented. There was a lot of individual bits and pieces everywhere available, but then I said, okay, we need to make one tutorial, let's say, that's just gonna tell the whole story, how a shot is composed. So then I created my first tutorial, which was production oriented. So it just takes an empty Houdini scene, and then it just lets you build shots like this from scratch. It teaches you particles, volumetrics, rigid bodies, pyro, solid, etc. And then just like, because it's just such a big scene and like 5-6 cameras, it also teaches you how to work in a nice flow, pretty much like a pipeline, almost a home pipeline. There's a lot of Python involved as well. It's quite useful if you want to get into Houdini. I like, after this tutorial I got very good feedback. I was like, everybody was cool, super happy. So I said, okay, I'm gonna make another one. Then I made another one which is called Masters of the Sea. This one is using the exact same workflow, although it's more water oriented. There's no pyro here. Well, there is pyro with mist and stuff, but there's no explosions. There is a nice cool water scene that we generate, and as you guys see here, there's a volume as well. But it again uses my daily like I go through the scene in a way that is if I'm working in a studio, so it really helps for people who want to get into this in the industry. You kind of get a little bit of an understanding of how a shot is built, and how to then use this workflow to output, let's say, 20 shots, 30 shots. That's really helpful. And then finally I said, okay, enough FFX, we're gonna go now and make some procedural workflow. So then finally here I am with Elite Fallen. I guess now it's a good time to do a little bit of explanation what we will be building, how we will be building. Well, so we're gonna start from an empty Houdini scene, and then we will end up with this scene. We're gonna first create an environment, and in the environment there will be terrain and the city, and then we're gonna scatter these buildings to the city, and then start doing look dev on those buildings. And then based on how strong our computer, we're gonna choose maybe 10 instances, maybe 20 instances, however we prefer, and then we're gonna bake the textures, because I tried rendering the city without baking it. It just takes forever. So we're just gonna bake the interior lighting. As you guys can see here, I'm just gonna bring it here. Yeah, this is it does take time to render otherwise, so we're gonna optimize it. So it's a very good practice to learn how to optimize shots, how to make it renderable, vice versa. And then finally after we have our city, we will start creating a little traffic simulation. using I'm on manual, right? Okay, so I have some assets that I'm sharing that I modeled previously. That these are like some old assets that I had in my library forever, like really low-res car models. I guess I can load them here, stashed as well. No, I guess they're not stashed. Let's see. Okay, so like really simple models, but they are something. They were living in my hard disk, I think, for 5-6 years, and now finally they have a purpose. After we do the look dev, oh, it's loading now. Then we will I think I should load my environment as well. Where is it? Oh, here. Let it cook for a sec. Okay, so then we will scatter our city. Right now I think I'm using only like 10 or 8 instances. I have actually like 50 unique buildings. It's just a matter of how big you want it to be. So after we build our city, we're gonna animate this ship. Which is also one of my older modeling practice, coming from modeling practices. We're gonna do the look dev on it as well, with Redshift, with Mantra. It's completely up to you. It's the same principles apply. Rendering of this tutorial, rendering part of this tutorial is actually not that big part. I mean, I have RenderMan 22 as well, the evaluation. I suggest trying that. Next time I will be probably using RenderMan or Redshift, I don't know yet, I haven't decided. So then we will do our ship look dev. And there's one thing you guys haven't seen because it never made it to the video, was that I have another, actually I'm going to bring it from here, it should be in my gallery. This guy. So I did have a model of a robot. Oh, sorry. Where is it? Yeah. Should be another one maybe now. And that was some really old model as well. So we're gonna put a pilot in our ship, which we didn't have before. I did start on it, but I never get the chance. So here is my pilot. We're gonna put him inside, and then I think there was a camera that looks towards him, and I was shaking him, so it was pretty cool. I'm gonna turn off so it's a bit faster. Feedback, yes. And then we are going to use a gamepad or keyboard or mouse as you prefer. I am using the Steam controller. Using chops, we're gonna record this animation, and then when we have the recorded track, we're gonna delay it a bit to apply to a second ship, and then add a bit noise using chops. And then we're gonna add another one to make our follow-up camera. So it kind of like goes like this. I'll turn this guy on, turn this guy on. I'm gonna turn off these. It's not too fast. Okay, and then we're kind of gonna have a nice, cool. Let's bring in the city. Okay, let's bring in the terrain as well. Okay, so by just recording like, I don't know, 60 seconds of a clip, we can just create a nice simulation that just our ships are. Oh, it's not the end of it. Sorry, this is how it begins. It's like I recorded, I think, 1,000 frames, and that was extremely cool because you can fly in your own city that is fake, but it's really nice. It was like, okay, this is working, and after it took a while to get used to the Steam controller, but it does work well. And so basically after that, we're gonna create a little automated firing system, and the way it goes is gonna be where is this? Yes, guns. So we kind of like create a visor, and then when the visor is, I think can see it. So these are the guns of the ship, and then when the target is inside these areas, it starts producing basically the ship starts firing because there's a target is in range or a visor, and then we'll kick off using these. We're gonna generate the impacts on the land, and then we're gonna do some pyro simulations on them, and then finally we have some automated missile systems as well. And then in the end, so if I go back to the video, particle systems, like this is the automated firing and automated impacts, and some more of those hitting the buildings if they miss. A little bit more custom, but a nice missile system as well. And finally, we're gonna crash our ship, the one in front, into this public transport with Shane. Luckily, it's empty, and we're gonna rip it apart using Solid Solver, and then we're gonna conclude our tutorial. So it's not thing to be intimidated about. We're gonna go step by step. This is like our render network. It's quite a lot of nodes, but I did end up optimizing it. Trust me, this is like the optimized version. But that's obviously because there is, how many shots was it? It starts from 1000 to, yeah, so that was like 14 shots, but I think I boiled it down to 13. Obviously it's a lot less work, but repetitive and tedious, because I wanted to make a cut which is a bit more interesting than just making a tutorial and just robots exploding. This is not just a how to make an amazing pyro sim, but this is like a Houdini tutorial pretty much. So you just learn Houdini, follow this by following this tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to stop the first video. That was the introduction, and in the next one we will start generating our terrain, and then we'll start our city. So thank you for watching.